I'm here for 210 Teen Library, and we're going to be doing our Instagram Live craft for the week. So I guess I will give people a minute to get started. Hopefully you've all picked up your crafts at your local library branch. If you haven't, there's still time. We have these animal crafts there until Saturday. So you still have a couple more days to pick them up if you haven't gotten yours yet. And we are doing a new craft every week. So if you haven't picked up your crafts every week, there's still time. We have 3 more crafts this summer. So 3 more weeks of crafts. Make sure you pick up your craft every week to tune into our live instruction videos on Thursdays. And for those of you keeping track of summer reading, if you have picked up your craft every week, this is craft number 4. So we are officially 4 crafts into summer reading. You're halfway to a t-shirt. If people are reading books this summer, and if you're doing summer reading, we do have our summer reading prizes already at the branch. So if you've attended 8 programs, if you've done 4 crafts and read 4 books, if you've done 4 crafts and done 4 online programs, any mixture of any of that, if you have reached 8 already, you can already go to pick up your t-shirts, and they're super cool. If you look further down on our Facebook, we do have pictures of them online. Totally worth going to get. So go during curbside hours and you can pick up your prize if you have already finished summer reading. All right. So this week's craft is kind of fun because you get 2 crafts in one. We're going to do these little guys, these little magnets, and we're also going to do these magnets. So I am going to start with these ones because they're a little easier. We'll get the easier ones done first, go into the more difficult ones. So inside your craft bag, you should have 1 animal, 3 magnets. You should have 2 of these clear little sleeves. Those are for the other crafts, so we'll put them aside for now. You got your instructions, which are helpful if you don't watch through the whole video, but hopefully you won't need them if you do. You should have a blank piece of paper. That's for the other craft as well. And then you should also have this guy and glue dots, which may be stuck in your bag. All right, so you have your animal. If you want to do like a cool color scheme, I used acrylic paint markers for these ones. So you don't necessarily need to use straight acrylic paint. Paint markers will work for the most part, but I will say that with the caveat that it really depends on which animal you got in your bag. It's kind of a toss-up. So this guy, who's a little darker, isn't going to work unless you paint him white before you try to use the acrylic marker. Otherwise, this would shine through. So I do recommend covering the darker animals with acrylic paint versus like the draft that was yellow and kind of a lighter brown didn't necessarily need to be covered up first. So the other option is, it looks kind of cool as is. I will put this monkey on a magnet just how it is. So if you don't feel like going through the painting or you don't have paint at home, don't worry about it. You can leave it like it is. The magnets are probably going to be in a stack like this. They're really hard to get apart, but if you push this way versus trying to pull them apart, they do come apart a little easier. Helpful hints. I'm just gonna put my bag inside out to try and get this glue dot off. If you have any problems getting these glue dots off and they just get totally wrecked, there are other options to stick it on. You can use double-sided tape, you can use rubber cement, or if you have a hot glue gun at home, your best bet is actually going to be to use hot glue. So I've got that guy right here. And it looks like it actually just needs some more glue. Oops. I'm just going to put a little dot in here and stick them on. Make sure you're finding a flat part to stick it onto. Some of the animals it's easier than others. And then with a lot of them, they'll have the heads turning a particular direction. So you'll probably just want to face it so that the head is pointing out. So that's all you really got to do for this guy is stick the magnet on the back. Obviously, it still looks really cool even though it's not painted. I would definitely hang that up. And you can glue it to either side of the magnet and it will work. You don't have to worry about one side sticking to the fridge and the other side not. So that was our first craft. Our second craft are these little kawaii animals. And this one is fun because you get to do a little more of your own artwork. You can trace what's on the paper if you're like me and you're not super great at drawing. Or if you have more artistic talent than I do, you can draw it yourself. So we're gonna take one of these clear sleeves and put it down here to trace out how big we need our paper to be. And guys, I'm using our washi tape jar if you tuned into that Instagram live. If not, if you wanna make cool pencils like this, cool washi jar, it's further down in our feed. So you can go back and rewatch it. So I'm just going to trace out this thing. And it doesn't need to be super exact because we're actually cutting it down to smaller than it is. So it's a good guideline, but it does not have to be perfect. And you should have enough room on your paper to do 3 across, which will give you 1 extra in case you decide you want to redo any of them. Okay. So like I mentioned before, as we're cutting it down, we want to cut it down to smaller than you traced out. Because if you cut it down to the exact same size you traced it out at, it's not going to fit inside the holder. That is not even. And then once you've cut it down, I recommend sticking it in the holder first before you try to draw anything on it, just to make sure it's the right size. Because the last thing you want is to get your drawing completely perfect and then realize you're gonna have to cut part of it off because it won't fit in there. So it looks like mine fits. We're gonna pull it back out. And I think I'm gonna do the little excited bear. He's very cute. So you're just gonna put your rectangle piece over the top of your tracing piece and you're gonna trace it out. The easiest way to do this is gonna be if you have a lot of light in the room. So if you're in a room without a lot of light, I recommend switching to an area with a little more light. The light is gonna help you see through the paper. Another fun fact is it's much easier to trace if it's on a window. So if you really just can't see anything, try taping the bottom tracing sheet to a window, because that should help make it a little clearer. All right, so now I've got this guy. Oops, I missed part of his mouth. Now I've got this guy all traced out. I would recommend using either a black pen, a fine-tipped black marker like this, something like that to make it a little darker. So I definitely recommend tracing over it in pencil first so that you can erase if you mess up. But then once you've got the first outline done, tracing it in black so that it shows up a little better. And there we go. I'm not going to color it because you guys don't have to watch me color. But you can color the background, you cannot color the background. You could draw a design in the background if you want to make the narwhal go to the beach or whatever. Oh, people are saying hi. Hi, everyone. So now that we have finished this, you can't see on the screen, but one side of this is very smooth and the other side of it is very bumpy. You're going to want to make sure to stick it in so that the smooth side is the front of the picture. And that's super important because we're taping the magnet, or we're gluing the magnet, I'm sorry, to the other side. Where did my glue dot go? There it is. And I did try this before because I wasn't sure if it would work. But hot glue will not melt the plastic sheet. So if you have a hot glue gun at home and want to make it a little more secure, you can use that to put the magnet on the back and it will work. But obviously you can see the glue dot works as well. So that is our completed craft. Thank you guys for tuning in. It was good to see you all. We have tons of programs going on during the summer. If you look at the links in our bio, we have links to everything we're doing. There's a lot going on, so make sure to check out our Discord channels. Make sure to scroll through our Instagram Live. We are putting all our live videos on YouTube now, so the link is in our bio to all of our previously recorded Instagram lives. So if you want to go back and watch any of them, you can. Like I mentioned before, prizes are now at the library in whatever branch you go to. Just get it during curbside. So if you finish summer reading, make sure to pick up your t-shirt because they're really cool. And we'll see you guys on Saturday for our music Instagram live.